You don't think of yourself as a religious person. Maybe you pray, maybe you don't. Maybe you haven't sat in a pew in years. But this weekend, you will put on special colors. You will travel to a vast building filled with thousands of strangers. You will sing songs you know by heart, chant words in unison, rise and fall as one body, and feel something move through the crowd that you cannot quite name. You'll call it football. You'll call it just a game. But the real answer is far stranger than a game. Because what you are doing, when you watch your team, is something humans have done for tens of thousands of years. The colors, the songs, the shared building, the sense of belonging to something larger than yourself, the grief when it ends in defeat, the ecstasy when it ends in glory. Anthropologists have a word for behavior that looks exactly like this. And the word is not sport. The word is religion. Football may be the largest, most powerful religion the planet has ever known. And almost no one who practices it realizes that's what they're doing. To see it, you have to stop watching the ball. Start with the most famous idea in the study of religion. Over a century ago, a French thinker named Émile Durkheim asked a deceptively simple question. What actually makes something sacred? He studied the oldest rituals he could find, and he noticed they had almost nothing to do with belief in the way you might assume. They had to do with assembly, with people gathering in one place, performing the same movements, chanting the same words, until the boundary between individuals dissolved and the group began to feel like a single living thing. Durkheim gave that feeling a name. He called it collective effervescence. It's the electricity that runs through a crowd when everyone is feeling the same thing at the same instant. It's bigger than any one person in it. And Durkheim argued that this feeling, this surge of something greater than yourself, is the actual origin of the sacred. The group experiences a power beyond the individual, and it reaches for a word to describe it. Some groups called that power God. Others called it spirit. But the raw experience underneath, Durkheim said, was the group feeling its own overwhelming force. Now picture a stadium in the 90th minute. The ball hits the back of the net. 80,000 people leave their seats at once. Strangers grab each other. Grown adults weep. A roar goes up that you can feel in your chest from the far side of the stands. For one suspended moment, no one in that building is a separate person. They are one organism, feeling one thing, with a force that dwarfs anyone inside it. That is not like collective effervescence. By Durkheim's own definition, it is collective effervescence. It is the exact experience he traced to the birth of religion itself. So why do we insist it's only a game? In 1981, a zoologist named Desmond Morris decided to study football the way he might study a troop of apes or a flock of birds. He spent years inside the sport, and he wrote a book called The Soccer Tribe. His conclusion was blunt. Football is not really about athletic competition at all. It is a modern tribal ritual, complete with every feature anthropologists look for in religion. There are sacred sites, the great stadiums treated like temples. There are high priests, the managers and star players. There are relics and shrines, the trophies kept in glass, the retired shirts hung on walls. There are pilgrimages, the away days when fans travel hundreds of miles to worship in another city. There are martyrs, hymns, robes, and sworn enemies. Once Morris pointed at the pattern, it became impossible to unsee. Think about the language you already use. You support a club the way you might support a cause you believe in. You are faithful. You keep the faith through losing seasons. You speak of legends and immortals, of hallowed turf and the beautiful game. A stadium is a cathedral. A famous comeback is a miracle. A player is worshipped, idolized, revered. None of this language is accidental. You did not choose those words at random. You reached for the vocabulary of religion because, at some deep level, the experience demanded it. But maybe you're thinking this is just a metaphor, a fun comparison. Not the real thing. So look at what the feeling actually does to you. Look at how it rewrites your sense of self. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Robert Cialdini ran a now classic set of studies on American college football fans. He noticed something strange about the word people used after a win. They didn't say the team won. They said we won. And after a loss, they said they lost. Cialdini called this basking in reflected glory. When your team triumphs, you absorb the victory into your own identity, as though you personally achieved something. The boundary between you and the group has thinned. Their glory becomes your glory. Their shame, you push away. That is not how you talk about entertainment. You don't say we won after watching a film you liked. You say we won when you belong to something, when your fate and the group's fate have fused. And the fusing is measurable right down to your blood. Researchers have studied the bodies of football fans during matches, and the findings read like the physiology of ritual. Your heart rate climbs. Stress hormones surge during a tense game and crash after it. In some studies, testosterone rises in the fans of the winning side and falls in the fans of the losing side, even though not one of those fans kicked a ball. Your body does not treat the match as a spectacle happening to other people. It treats the outcome as if it is happening to you, to your tribe, to your standing in the world. That is precisely how the body responds to events that matter for survival. Your ancient wiring cannot tell the difference between your tribe winning a battle and your team winning a final. Why would evolution build a brain that does this? Because for almost the entire human story, your survival depended completely on your group. Alone, you were food. Inside a tight, loyal band, you were powerful. So the human mind evolved a deep, almost desperate hunger to belong, to bind itself to others, to feel the warmth and safety of the collective. The anthropologist Robin Dunbar has spent decades studying how humans build these bonds, and he found that the glue is often physical and synchronized. Moving together, singing together, chanting together. These shared rhythmic acts flood the brain with endorphins, the body's own bonding chemicals, the same ones released by laughter and touch. Religious ritual is full of exactly this: standing, kneeling, singing in unison, swaying as one. And so is a football crowd. The scarves raised together, the anthem before kickoff, the chant that rolls around the stands in waves. The whole stadium jumping in time. You are not just watching a match, you are performing a synchronized bonding ritual that your species has performed around fires and altars for longer than written history has existed. Your brain is being bathed in the chemistry of belonging, and it feels, quite literally, like coming home. Now consider the part that makes football arguably more powerful than many traditional faiths. A traditional religion asks you to believe in things you cannot see. Football asks nothing of the kind. It delivers the sacred experience directly, every single week, with no act of faith required. The drama is real and unscripted. The stakes feel total. The miracle might actually happen in front of your eyes. And the global congregation is staggering. Billions of people organize their week, their mood, their friendships, their very identity around it. The World Cup final draws an audience that no sermon, no pilgrimage, no holy day in history has ever matched. If you measured religion purely by the number of people who gather, who chant, who weep, who feel transported beyond themselves, football would not be a small faith. It might be the largest single act of collective worship the human species has ever organized. And like every religion, it gives you something you genuinely need. It gives you a name for who you are. It gives you a community that will recognize you anywhere in the world the moment they see your colors. It gives you a calendar that orders your time, a set of saints and villains, a story bigger than your own small life that you get to be a part of. In a modern world where the old congregations have thinned and people increasingly describe themselves as belonging to nothing, football quietly does the work that belonging has always done. It pulls strangers into a single body. It lets you lose yourself for 90 minutes in something vast. So sit with the full picture for a moment. The colors are vestments. The stadium is a temple. The chant is a hymn. The manager is a high priest. The legend a saint. The trophy a holy relic. The away day is a pilgrimage. The word "we" is a confession of faith. And the electricity you feel when the net ripples and the crowd erupts is the oldest sacred feeling there is. The one Durkheim traced to the very root of religion, the group feeling its own tremendous power and reaching for something larger than itself. None of this makes the feeling false. It makes it ancient. It makes it real. You can believe in a god or believe in none, and still walk into that stadium and feel the hair rise on your arms when the singing starts. Because the thing being satisfied in you is older than any particular faith. It is the human need to belong, to dissolve into a crowd, to feel for one shining moment that you are not alone in the universe but part of something that will outlive you. So this weekend, when you pull on your colors and join the thousands and feel that roar move through your chest, you can keep calling it just a game. Or you can understand for the first time that you are doing what humans have always done, gathering in the sacred place, singing to something greater than yourself, and worshiping with your whole heart, a faith you never knew you had.